energy starts flowing from Alora. And you feel this pulse just echo throughout. And much like when Alora was preparing the rites for those creatures that were killed, those elk, you see a lot of the forest sprites start just popping up and appearing everywhere. There's just so many of them. They're covering the trees, they're on the ground. Some of them are kind of like just walking on top of the worms. Like one's on TK's shoulder. Like they're just appearing everywhere as Alora is glowing this bright light green. And Alora, you're holding on to this moon being as you feel this power flowing into them. You're watching as their skin is becoming more like a paler color, not gray. Like it's just losing that ashy tone as it's starting to change. And you can hear the sounds of cracking and snapping as it looks like pieces of the mask are forming along the sides, and they're forming together to come to make up this face. The whole just forest starts shaking. Alora, you're gone to the world. You are 100% focused on this task. This being is crouched down near you now as this power is flowing into them, bringing them back from the dead. There is all sorts of strange screaming, shouting, weird animal calls coming out from the woods. As you all are looking around everywhere, you feel just the ground shaking. And you look up, and it's probably mid-afternoon at the moment, and you can see the moons clearly in the sky. One, its normal steely gray color. As we all know, this moon is made out of metal, and the other one is the natural rock that's rotating around this planet. You're watching them just suddenly become incredibly visible in the sky as more and more of this mask is coming together, and it looks just like the cybernetic mask, except there isn't the digital marks on it. Instead, it's just this pale, pallid mask. And you can hear now, it sounds like dozens upon dozens upon dozens of creatures are running in this direction. So many of them. And just as the last fragments of this mask are sealing up, you watch this being leading the charge, smashing through the trees that are around the outskirts of this village. You see the warped queen, but she looks different. She normally has more of a feminine figure, and they normally they have that crown that's twisting and going all different directions. Now they're in this hulking form. They are twice their normal height. The obsidian and like blood that makes up half of them is like twisted and formed into like these large claws in one hand. Like they're all really bulked up. The other side is like stone and vines and moss, and they're looking around everywhere trying to figure out like what's happening as they're charging forward. Fae are coming from all angles as they're all coming in, and they halt as they watch the last of this mask just snap, and it comes back together. This ripple of energy rips out in the area. Everyone is knocked off their feet except Alora. All the beings fall backwards as there is so much energy in the air. Your hair is floating up. You see these moons now are in clear view. You feel like gravity itself is starting to shift a bit as you're lifting into the air a bit and falling back down. The worms are lifting up and falling back down, unpleasant. And this being stands tall. They look out at all of you. Their hair now is no longer plastered to their body. Their clothes aren't torn. Like everything it's perfect once more as they're standing above all of you. This radiant moonlight is coming off of them. These eyes of the mask look around at everyone, and they look down at you, Alora, and you feel just like this pulse inside you as the hand mark disappears off of your hand. And you hear,
"Thank you."
And in a flash, they're gone. The moon's gone. everything sort of settles back down. The little forest sprites sort of like walk away and disappear.